What up, kiddos? Here's your first little homework assignment, It's gonna be super easy. We're just gonna go through some questions, only three, and then I'm gonna get you up out of here, right? Click, clack, blam, quick and fast, little review, right? So we're gonna talk about some Industrial Revolution questions, and this right here is a STAAR test from 2021. I wish I had the one from this year, you know what I'm saying? But I don't, because I hook y'all up. Anyways, so we're gonna go through three questions. I'm gonna show y'all how to answer these questions, and we're good, right? There we go. So number 25, what was one effect of the cotton gin in the United States? I always tell my kids process of elimination. If you see the answer, cool, but still read all the answers just to make sure that you know what you're talking about, right? So A, improved soil fertility. Definitely not, right? Let's cross this one out. Nope. Expansion of mercantilism. Remember, mercantilism, mother country. That's well after this time period, right? So we're between C and D. Increased efficiency of crop irrigation. Irrigation is watering. No, because remember the cotton gin, what it did, it took the seeds out of the cotton and it cleaned them very proficiently, right? And very fast. So what's the answer? It is going to be D, right there. Bam. Oops. Expansion of the plantation system. Because remember, once the slave owners figured out, man, black folk make more cotton for us. Man, I need more slaves. And unfortunately, slavery spread. So even though the cotton gin was supposed to make things easier as far as picking and growing cotton, slavery expanded and it got really bad. So 25 is D. Let's go to 34 next. I just freeze. Ew. Ew. Let's go to 34, bro. Ignore my dog. He's being annoying. Little baby. All right, so 34. The canal shown on this map caused, let's see here. Remember, a canal is a man-made river. So F, a decline in farming in areas far from canal routes. Well, there was no really farming at all because this is so far northeast. So I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Increased competition among cotton producers in the South. Now listen, how would a river of northeast increase cotton production in the South? Does that have any relation to anything? Can't be that. CH, a decline in international trade going through the Atlantic port cities. Now, when you see the word international, that means all across the world. Our canals really didn't affect things going around the world, right? That'd be cool if it did, but it didn't. Now, let's see, J. The rapid growth of urban centers along the canal routes. Remember, urban centers, urban means cities. Where are all the big cities? In the Northeast. New York, Philly, Boston, they're all going to be up north. So they put these canals on purpose next to these big cities. It increased trade and it increased a lot of money. And I always tell my kids, it's all about the money in history. So that answer is J. Now let's go to one last question. 39. Bam, bam. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Which phrase best completes this diagram? So first one, it says, and when you see graph organizers, do not panic. It's still asking you a question. So just relax and read the diagram. Colonial production of cash crops, then use of slavery in agriculture, blank, the expansion of the transatlantic slave trade. Which best phrase completes the diagram? So let's see. Development of labor unions. Look, I wish black folk back then had labor unions, but they didn't, bro, because it was slavery, right? Ain't no such thing as labor unions during slavery, right? B, increased enlistment of military had no really relation to slavery. Constructions of roads and railroads. For the most part, hey, black folk were not on the railroads, right? And one more, D, increased profits for plantation owners. Absolutely D. Once slave owners figured out they could profit off slavery the way they could, it got insane. Does that make sense? So here we go. The answer is D. So the following answers are D, J, and D. And that's how you answer these STAAR questions.